Hi, I'm Scott Margolin, your host for the grand finale of Season 2 of Arc Week. We're here in beautiful Jupiter, Florida, where we're about to be joined by 3 additional arc flash experts. Why have arc flash experts gathered here in Jupiter? Well, the answer is simple. Believe it or not, we're about to go shark diving. You heard right. We're going to jump off a perfectly seaworthy boat and into the water with large pelagic sharks. Why are we doing this? Because we're attempting to demonstrate that it is possible to do something that seems inherently dangerous safely if you have the appropriate hierarchy of controls, behavioral safety, situational awareness, and PPE. Please enjoy. So now let's meet Team Arc. Scott Margolin, Vice President of Technical, Tyndale. 32 years in the AR/FR business, fibers, fabrics, and garments. Chair, ASTM F1959, the ARC rating standard. Thousands of arc flashes and real gear at Real System Energies.
Rich Goidex, Vice President of Business Development for Nespro PPE. 26 years of experience and a member of ASTM F18.
Jason Einelli, Director of the Outside Curriculum for Electrical Training Alliance. 20 years journeyman lineman as an IBEW union member.
Hugh Holden, Arc Flash Technical Specialist, Arcware and Connectrix. 27 years in the industry, formed over 100,000 arc flashes.
It's 7 a.m. dive day. The ARC team meets the Florida shark diving crew and takes care of the paperwork.
So we're going to be back for lunch, or we're going to be lunch, one of the two. Are you nervous?
Nope.
Why?
Well, I got all these guys that are professionals. I'm going to learn how to do it from the experts.
Because we're about to begin a potentially hazardous task, the team has to sign a waiver first, just like a hot work permit.
Are you nervous?
A little bit. You got to respect these sharks, just the fear of the unknown, but we're going to be prepared. We're going to have a safety talk, we've got the right equipment, the right PPE. If we're going out there, it's going to be a great day.
So how do we do this safely? First, let's reset your expectations. Unlike working energized, this is not as dangerous as it looks. Sharks have been grossly misrepresented by movies and TV shows for decades. They are not mindless, unpredictable killing machines, constantly hunting anything they can find and driven to a frenzy by the slightest drop of blood. Humans are not on the menu. If we were, it would be almost impossible to go into the ocean safely. Sharks are a miracle of evolution, one of nature's most highly refined creations. They've been around since before the dinosaurs, before trees existed. Heck, they're older than Saturn's rings. Sharks are also electricians in their own way. They have fantastically sensitive electrical receptors on the underside of their snouts called the ampulla of Lorenzini, and these allow them to detect Earth's magnetic fields, believe it or not, which aids them in navigation in the open ocean, as well as the minute electrical potentials generated by the muscle contractions of their prey. Sharks should be admired, not feared. Most sharks, most of the time, are actually highly cautious, deliberate, and predictable. Cows kill and injure far more Americans every year than sharks do, but there's no Cow Week on TV. Now that we've dispelled some myths about sharks, we acknowledge that there's still a potential risk, which leads us back to the original question. How do we do this safely? Let's talk to our experts.
Well, it all starts with your training. You go into human behavior, you go into situational awareness, you go into PPE and training, and from there you are not qualified, but you're ready for the task on hand.
If you're going to go out with the shark folks, you want to go out with the experts.
So that's exactly what we did. It all starts with a top quality guide, one who specializes in shark diving. The folks at Florida Shark Diving are the best at what they do. Shark diving is their sole focus and core business, and they've been doing it 7 days a week, weather provided, for many years. They've worked with the Discovery Channel, Shark Week, National Geographic, and others. Expertise, experience, focus, and track record of the service provider all matter a lot in any situation where you're putting your well-being or even your life on the line. Swimming with sharks, like working with arcs, begins with a safety briefing where we learn about the hazards and the task ahead.
We're going to a ledge. It's about 110 feet on top of the ledge, about 140, 150 in the sand. There is a decent current out there because we're so close to the Gulf Stream. So we'll drift anywhere from 2-3 miles up to 7 or 8 miles in an hour. The sharks basically feed off your energy. They are kind of like puppies, just with bigger teeth. So if you lay nice and flat on your stomachs, relax, don't splash. If you're in the water kicking and flailing, they don't know what to make of it. They're either gonna get scared and swim away, or they're gonna get curious and come check you guys out. The sharks really do go off of eye contact.
3 miles offshore, on the ledge, time to get the bait in the water. Breakfast. and gear up. We've met Team Arc, now let's meet Team Shark. Silky Shark, maximum size 11.5 feet, 800 pounds. Bull Shark, maximum size 10 feet, 1,000 pounds. Sandbar Shark, maximum size 7.5 feet, 260 pounds.
At one point I was sitting there, I was looking at the Silky that was just swimming all around us, and I looked down and there's like 6 other sharks that are down below us, but they were staying away from that Silky.
I can't believe it. Look how close he got. I was the one that thought I would be afraid of the shark, but they're showing fear of Mr. Goidix.
That was totally cool. I was excited. Oh, it was surreal. Here, kitty, kitty, come here, girl, and I'd reach out, and I'd almost get there, and I'd just miss her. You know what I'm saying? Get back here, get a little bit closer. Come here, come on, girl, come on.
I'm a little nervous here, and I'm looking over at these 2 folks that are the professionals, and they just look like they're having a blast. They're throwing out that tuna steak, and that shark just chomped that thing. Isn't that crazy? That was amazing.
That is a big shark. Water's warm, the sharks are friendly. This is awesome.
It was pretty awesome. It was fantastic.
I'm sitting here at first and I'm watching, and Scott, he is much more fearless than us. He's out there swimming, he's with them because he's got experience. I didn't have that experience, and so I was just playing it safe and careful, which was good, but if I'd had the experience, I would have known how far I can go and where not to go.
The dive's over now, but no one wants to get out of the water. Back on the boat, the crew celebrate a great experience and a job safely done and talk about the dive. What was the single most surprising thing about that to you? You just, before you got in, you had no idea you were going to see or feel that way.
I was prepared to be really scared out of my ass, but I was thrilled to be in the water with the shark, but I wasn't fearful of it. As it relates to this lesson, I just think about our linemen, our wiremen around the country and how they work around danger.
She's right behind you, man. Same question, Jason.
How calm I was.
Going into our pre-job or brief and safety and stuff like that, I mean, I was pretty chill going in, didn't really know what to expect. But after we got there and we were surrounded by professionals, I mean, it was cake.
It was really cool. I had no idea how close the shark would get, and that was just like awesome. Just looking her in the eye and realizing she was just looking for food. It was really cool.
I wouldn't want to do this with just any old crew. These guys are top notch. We were well prepared. We were trained for what we would experience. Just wouldn't want to be out here in danger with this guy, with just any old crew.
Speaking of the crew, when we put our lives in someone's hands, we only work with the best. In this case, Florida Shark Diving. Let's get their perspective on safety.
We just try and bring the most safe, clear interactions with sharks that we can. The whole point of this is to bring people up close and personal and try and change their perspective on sharks. A lot of people have this media-induced fear, but we bring them right into their territory, and people come out with a smile on their face and completely change perspectives. We're always keeping our head on a swivel and reading the shark's language, or trying to as much as we can. And we've never had a bite, no client incidences, and after 10 years, that's pretty good.
Usually if people come expecting the cage, we have the cage talk with them before we leave the dock. The one time I saw the cage in the water was when we were filming for Shark Week, and they made it look very scary on TV. And me, One of our captains, our crew, and the whole film crew were in the water right next to the cage, filming the whole time. So
Yeah.
they definitely try and make it look scary, but people see that on TV and they don't really know the behind the scenes of it.
We've just taken you behind the scenes and under the water to show just how much swimming with sharks and working with arcs have in common. Now we're going to head back to the beach to talk about some of the parallels and how to do a potentially hazardous task safely, beginning with behavioral safety. The team sits down to talk about key issues and focuses in on something that shark diving and arc flash work have in common, and that is the person most likely to be killed or injured is often trying to please the customer, the foreman, the crew, or rush the job. If it puts you in harm's way, yes is the wrong answer.
The reason an extrovert is most likely to die is that they're trying to please someone. They're either trying to please the camera, they're trying to please their friends, they're trying to please their foreman, they're trying to please their boss, they're trying to please the company owner, and then they or the customer.
I've been a certified diver for 43 years. I've been shark diving for 30 of those. I've been bitten once, and the one time I was bitten, thankfully, was a minor species and a minor bite, but it was 100% my fault, and it was 100% because I was trying to show off or please my son and my family who were with me. Yep. And I did several somethings I shouldn't do, violated every behavioral safety rule and training rule in the book with this particular nurse shark, and the price I paid was she took these 3 fingers in her mouth. Yep. The reason I got in trouble was I was showing off.
Yep, that's why we need PPE.
So one of the things that struck me, Scott, when we were in the water is that we were instructed not to stick our hands out. That's exactly like it happens in an electrical situation is. As long as you're avoiding contact, that puts you in the safest position. And I felt really comfortable holding my arms across my chest and just staying out of the way and just watching what was going on.
Rich, what do you think?
The diver that's about to jump off the boat into the water with sharks has made a conscious decision to do so and has proper training and assigned a waiver, just like electrical work.
Don't work hot if you don't have to, and if you do work hot, recognize the hazard and make sure you have the appropriate PPE.
One of the things that I noticed from being in the trade is they always had situational awareness, not just of the sharks, but of us. Hey, move back off that rope a little bit, do this, do that, but they were always talking to the captain. So they were doing all the things behind scenes, but putting us in a relaxed nature.
When you get in the water and you're still observing, okay, where's the buoy, where's the boat, you know, how much am I floating, where's this one? Your mind's constantly taking all that in. It could be as simple as the tide changing or somebody walking into your energized zone. At any point, if something changes, you stop, halt, reassess the situation, and get a better game plan.
And electricity is the same way. It doesn't want to have an arc flash. If things are properly maintained, if things are properly cared for, if you're following the right procedures, you usually won't have an arc flash. But when you do, that right PPE is so important. So the most stunning thing for me was I looked and the shark, this 10-foot long silky shark, was coming straight up at me. And I just immediately went to my training. And I just kept my hands across my chest so she wouldn't think I was trying to feed her. And I mean, she came up and she was basically mouth to face with me. I used my proper training and my proper technique to make sure that I didn't get hurt in that position.
Yeah, I just realized I saw the dive flag flying, and it's really important to us to prevent other boats from coming close to us when we're underwater. In the world of electrical safety and arc flash, there's a similar set of boundaries to prevent the unqualified worker from approaching areas where you need to be qualified and skilled to do the work safely and recognize the hazards present.
When you're literally putting your life or your health in someone else's hands, you want an expert. Whether it's swimming with sharks or working with arcs, you want someone who ticks the 4 main boxes: expertise, experience, focus, and track record.
To be honest with you, this wouldn't have been my bucket list because I didn't know anything about it. And then when you see it on TV, you're like, nope, not doing it. But being surrounded by a good crew that has training, the experience, providing good gear, it makes for an exceptional trip for everybody.
I always tell people, don't hire the cheapest contractor, hire the safest contractor. Because the safest contractor in the long run, taking that risk out. That's why taking us on this shark dive with this kind of a company that's at Shark Week, They're experiencing this. That's so important. Using somebody who understands the trade, who does it right, who doesn't cut corners.
So to piggyback on Hugh's point, I often say, if I'm going to go skydiving tomorrow, I'm not buying my parachute from Discount Parachutes R Us. We're not going to use a fly-by-night outfit. Our lives are in their hands. The exact same dynamic is true in what we all do for a living. It is absolutely vital to hire a contractor who's quality, who knows what they're doing, to hire a daily wear company provider whose expertise allows you to be safe, or to buy arc flash chutes from a company who you know has your best interests at heart. Safety has to come first. We're protecting people, and there's a higher loyalty to that.
To the same point.
I mean, my life depends on it. My crew's life depends on it. And we focus on our provider. I mean, that's just the way it is. We all work together for safety and to go home at the end of the day.
The PPE, you shouldn't have to think about it. It should just fit. It should be an extension of your body. It should be something that it's just natural. You know.
It moves with you, it breathes, it helps you perform the basic work you're there to do.
I'm a daily wear guy. I mean, honestly, having seen a lot of accidents, most of the people that die or get really, really badly burned, it's because it's not FR. I mean, I've done 225 accident investigations, and it's almost always not FR, and it catches on fire. If you die from arc, it's because you wore something like that. You wore polyester, or you wore, cotton clothing, thinking, well, that's okay. It won't melt onto me. It doesn't really matter.
So PPE is very important from start to finish. We do live hand, bare hand, we do hot sticking, anything high voltage we train for. It all starts where you get it from, how many choices are out there. Comfort, style, and functionality is really critical. It has to work for the individual or they're not going to wear it. We need different options for different situations. To have availability and trust in the manufacturer, the distributor, that's key in everything that we do in the electrical field.
In either circumstance, you have to be able to see the hazard, whether it's a 9-foot shark or a wire that could arc.
One of the other things that was pretty awesome was they described this as a dog. And so, yes, it can bite you, but it doesn't want to bite you. And electricity is the same way. It doesn't want to have an arc flash. If things are properly maintained, if things are properly cared for, if you're following the right procedures, you usually won't have an arc flash. But when you do, that right PPE is so important.
Thank you for joining us for Season 2 of Arc Week. We hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed creating it. Swimming with sharks and working with arcs have a lot more in common than you probably thought they did a week ago. You can do a relatively risky activity if you have the appropriate hierarchy of controls, including training, behavioral safety, situational awareness, PPE, and a top quality service provider. Please join us again next year for Season 3 of Arc Week.